So the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has new leadership, with Sboniso Duma taking over from Sihle Zikalala as chairperson. President Cyril Ramaphosa has applauded the province for what he called a disciplined and well-organized conference. Let's find out what to expect from the new leadership. We're joined by the newly elected chairperson, Sboniso Duma, to chart the way forward. Thank you very much for availing yourself this morning. I guess the congratulations is in order to you. How would you characterize the events of this weekend?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Greetings to your viewers at home as well. Let us also thank the role that has been played by media at this point in time for portraying what was a good and a smooth conference. I think we could just characterize that it was a true reflection of the ANC, where we meet in a political school or a class which had to be robust in its form and make sure that we achieve what is going to change our society.
In your address last night, you noted that today marks a new chapter for the movement. What does that new chapter look like, rather, especially in terms of your priorities?
I think we must just elevate taking the ANC back to its basic. Go back, build strong branches, go back and meet all the stakeholders that are part and parcel of within the component of the society, the broader church, which is the body of Christ, like the churches, mainland churches like the Nazareth Baptist Church, which has a serious number of goers that must just be identified and engage with them, win them in identifying the vision. Go back and solidify the concept of ensuring that the royal household of KwaZulu-Natal become the iconic move where we embrace the cultural hegemony. Go back and deal with the private sector as the stakeholder as well in ensuring that we boost the economy. So those are the issues that we must do as the movement and the lead of the society.
It's a mammoth task ahead, and you are echoing the sentiments of the president of the ANC, who noted in the closing address yesterday that he's concerned about the weakness of branches. And so when you speak about going back to basics and taking a look at how the party fared, especially in KwaZulu-Natal in the 2021 local government elections, I guess the devil is in the detail. How exactly?
I think the strong branch of the ANC is able to identify if there's a leakage, if there's a proper process of water is not being delivered, if there's this issue of electricity fault in the area, if there's issue of crime, if there are service delivery matters, if you've got a solid branch, they are the one that will identify. You don't have to expect that other stakeholders like the investigation will just come before, investigating journalists will come before you resolve the matter, because the issue of three spheres of government will rely on stronger branches to manage matters. So that's what we are saying, that we will elect amongst us the strongest comrade who must lead in branches so that service delivery will be elevated to a proper planet, to a proper process.
Sure. A number of pronouncements were made during the weekend. I'd like for us to focus on the pronouncement made by Bheki Mtolo, where he's calling for the political review of the step-aside resolution, essentially wanting it to be scrapped. Is this something you support, especially ahead of the policy conference this weekend?
It is something that is coming. It's the echo sentiment of our branches. In the plenary, it was elevated that unfortunately the applicability of the step-aside rule somehow is inconsistent with our constitutions, and it's difficult just to implement it, because if you apply it to comrade so and so, it must be exactly with comrade A and comrade B. So at this point in time, we have not seen the consistency in the application of step aside, which is why we're saying that scrap it, because in our country, if comrade has been charged, go to the process of criminal line instead of doing it internal as well, because to clear comrade and step that comrade aside, yet you find that later on is found guilty or not found guilty, then there are some contradictions that has been created, as if this step aside is used to purge our comrades.
After much confusion about whether the president of the party would actually be closing the conference, we eventually saw him taking to the podium. Let's just remind our viewers, and for the purpose of those who missed it, of that moment. Let's take a look, listen at this.
There are no fundamental matters that will coerce us. Ukuthi number one we-ANC no number one wase-South Africa singamnikezi ithuba ngoba media, which is antagonistic in their reporting style, because it is media ekade seyiphepeshwetha izinto kube ngathi khona ingxabano. Ayikho comrade ingxabano. Ama-issues ethu siyakwazi ku-address, so kwazi kwakhuluma comrade ama-issues so that i-conference yethu iziphele ikade smooth. If you proceed, comrades, misbehavior, the media will not report izinto ezinhle ezenzeke in this conference, but the reflection will be misbehavior, will be a process engahambile kahle.
So that is the moment you stepped in before the president then took to the podium. You speak of the political review, of the call for the political review of the step-aside resolution of the ANC, echoing the sentiment of your branches. We also heard some delegates singing Wenzeni uZuma, loosely translated, what has Jacob Zuma done? What should we read into that statement or into that singing when it comes to the mandate from the branches? What would you say your mandate is from your members?
I think it's first that we must clarify that the National Executive Committee opens the provincial conference. If it's a regional conference, the Provincial Executive Committee opens the conference. Who closes the conference is the newly elected chairperson. So President didn't come to close the conference, but came to give us a warm greetings and a reflection of remarks that he wanted to come earlier on, but he was disturbed. Then he got a space. Then he had to come in the province of KwaZulu-Natal because we are one ANC. ANC is an inter-organization. I think the reflection from the plenary is that President Zuma has not been treated fairly. Something should be done. The applicability of the judiciary processes must be consistent as well with the issue of protection of his rights. And at this point in time, branches felt that this matter should have been handled differently, and let us ensure on the applicability of this thing. So the issue of Wenzeni Zuma song is the song that is capering drumming that please make sure that Uzuma, as the former statesman of our country, must be protected, must be embraced, must be loved, and deserve justice like any other individual member in the society.
You say that he should be protected and loved, and something should be done to protect him. What is that something?
We've already indicated we've been supporting President Zuma each time when he goes to court, because we are feeling that, I think you are aware as well, it's the 16th year now President Zuma being going back and forth to court, because if there was a case, if there was onus on the case, on the process of the law, it would have been done at this point in time. And you know that justice delayed is justice denied. Why an 8-year-old is still suffering like this, a guerrilla and a freedom fighter who fought for the liberation of this country? Because if there was something that is tangible, if there was admissible evidence that he has done something wrong, he would have been charged. And the issue of his arrest, I think led to something that was never thinkable that is going to happen in the province. So even those things we are saying that it should have been handled differently.
There are some sectors of society that hold the belief that your support for the former president will weaken your campaign in the eyes of the public, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. Is this something that you take into consideration or bothers you at all?
I think what we are taking into consideration is that giving the support of any person in the society that is in need and that someone that deserves justice, it's something that we are going to do, and especially the former president of the ANC must be given the support because they remain the fountain of wisdom. So I think supporting President Zuma is something that the province of KwaZulu-Natal at this point in time is what they see. I think you have seen different sectors. The Body of Christ, the church has been visiting him. Amabut at some point in time visited his homestead. Former guerrillas of Umkhonto, even the entire society has been asking us, why is he persecuted like this? Why is he being prejudiced? Why are you not doing what is needed to ensure that he deserves? Because someone who's 8 years old is someone who must be enjoying his spare time at home, spending time with his grandkids. So I think that's how we treat our elderly in the community. So I don't think that there's a society that will celebrate that someone is not giving a fair chance in the process. I think it's the other way around, that giving him support is a principal matter, that whoever is not being treated fairly should be supported. And as the leader of the society, it is our sole responsibility that we protect those who are vulnerable in the process.
What is the political future of Sihle Zikalala? Is his premiership position under threat?
I think his political future, Comrade Zikalala, is a member of the ANC, is the leader, is our senior leader as well, and we've worked well with him in the past because he's been in the leadership of KwaZulu-Natal. I think going forward he's going to be playing role in the leadership of the ANC, because you must understand that we are volunteer of the movement. We join this to ensure that we are going to shape and introduce new elements in the organization. So debating what is going to happen in the level of governance, it's not something that a chairperson who's been elected without sitting with the leadership must just design. I think at the right time we are going to reflect back, because there is a need for hitting the ground running, assess government so that we change and become a proper and a responsive government.
You were widely quoted over the weekend during various media interviews that Sihle Zikalala will not be purged. Is this a position that you hold this morning?
We hold the same view that, in fact, let's start from the branches. The branch that didn't support us, branches, regions that didn't support our view, are not going to be purged. We are going to protect the hegemony. We are going to unify. We are going to unite the organization, which is something that is a sacrosanct, that if we've got a weak ANC, you can't win the election. If the branches knew that if you support a certain view, then your future is not okay in the organization, you might be disbanded. It's something that we are clinical. Nobody's going to be disbanded. Your view was something that is long gone now. The conflict elected the leadership. I think everyone who is a member, a disciplined member of the ANC, should rally behind the newly elected leadership. I think that's what we meant about the issue of purging.
You've been receiving messages of congratulations from all walks of life and a number of sectors across South Africa, including political parties, the Democratic Alliance being one of them, congratulating the future leader of the opposition in KwaZulu-Natal. How do you receive this congratulation?
I think we've been working well together because we've been in the legislature since 2009. There is collegiality amongst members that will work together. We just take that warmly welcome from the oppositional benches, but they're not going to dictate what is going to happen in the ANC. ANC has the responsibility of leading the society. It means even the divergent views come, we must embrace those views. But as the leader of the society, ideologically, we know what must be done, what must ensure that the issue of unity in the society prevails at all material time. When you lead the people, develop them, give them new hopes so that it's easy for the government of the day to implement the policies.
Newly elected chairperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, Sboniso Duma, thank you very much for your time.